didn't see you there, I'm sorry. I'm Alfie King, welcome to the 106 Mile Podcast. And I just ruined this fucking shot right now. 106 Mile Chicago, gotta get there for dawn. Come on now, brother man, you won't ride along. 106 miles, baby, I hope you got some stories to tell. 106 miles, baby. 106 Mile Podcast, everybody. What's up? My name's Alfie King. How's it going? Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. I am. Look at that shot. Look at that shot right there. That's clean. You can't see it if you're not on the YouTube, but still. Boy's got a camera. I'm doing some Casey Neistat fucking in and out motion. Look at my pale ass face. Anyway, how's it going? I just want to kick off the show for the beginning of the week. By that I mean I want to kick off the show looking out my window here. It's not the beginning of the week, it's Monday. This is like Freedom's Eve because it's we're waiting on old Bojo to tell us about the COVID and see if we're allowed to get out there and see people again. Hopefully we can. We've got to do the right thing. Keep everybody safe. Got to keep everyone safe. I know so many musicians that are itching to get back out there again, but I don't know. I think safety-wise, we're looking at. Honestly, I think end of the summer. I think we might have some gigs. I hope it's sooner. But anyway, c'est la vie. So, first topic of the news this week. I just want to say thank you to everybody that listened last week, my first one, and it was scary. And I was trying to charge a car in a Holiday Inn car park, and I mean, who doesn't look suspicious with this microphone and like an iPad and an interface and a guitar charging an electric car? I mean, that in itself is not normal. But this leads me on to my first thought. I was talking to my best friend. Well, I've got two best friends, Pete and Louis. And I was talking to Pete a couple of weeks ago. And I drive electric cars, Zoe. Does me well. Got a little contract with a company and pay a little bit a month and get this car. And I said, apart from saving all the polar bears and the penguins, which is obviously what I care about, I said, do you want to know the worst thing about having an electric car? And he said, is it charging it? And I was like, nah. And he was like, is it the miles? You're only getting so many miles. God damn, a pigeon just flew straight from my window. That was petrifying. Anyway, I said, no, it's not the miles. It's not the miles. I said the most annoying thing about having an electric car is other people that have electric cars who have only just got electric cars, or people that have electric cars. No, sorry, people who are thinking about getting electric cars. Because like I've had it for nearly 2.5 years now, something like that. And in the beginning, somebody comes over to you and they're like, "Oh, how does this work? What do you do?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, man, But oh, Jesus! Now I can tell the look in their eyes. They're normally about 50. Run out of exciting things. They're not brave enough to get something actually exciting like a sports car. So they're like, we're going to go electric. This is going to be it. We're going electric. And then they see me and they think, what a handsome, do-gooder kind of guy. And they say, how does all this work? And it's just the most boring conversation to go over and over and over again. Because you know what they're going to say. They're going to be like, oh, you only get 170 miles. Or you'll say like, oh, yeah, it takes like, I don't know, half an hour to charge or an hour to, and they're like, oh, it takes like an hour to charge between. What's the point in that? And I'm just like, you don't get it, man. You don't get it, man. For like 80 years, we've been running these things out of like dead dinosaur juice. And all of a sudden somebody's come along and they're like, you can do this with like Duracell batteries. And it's a big change. So give it some time. Jesus Christ. And this is not Tesla money. It's not Tesla money. Do you know what I'm saying? We're just trying to keep it humble. Anyway. So you got to listen to how they, set up their cruise control and do all that. And now I just literally I see someone pull up, I just unplug and drive off. I'm horrible. I know I'm horrible. Especially when you're trying to do a podcast. I mean. Anywho, I'll tell you something else I just saw this, and I promise I'll talk about some blue stuff in a bit, but this thing on the plane engine that fell off. Oh my God. I heard about it and I was like, oh, that's really bad. And then I saw the video. Oh my God. It's just like this ball of fire spinning. If you haven't seen the video, go and see the video. It's just like, you could imagine opening it up and being like, 2021 said what? 2020 was bad. 2021 said, hold my beer. And what made me laugh was I was watching CNN because I'm like a grown up now. And T- 3 days until I'm 30. So, like I was saying, this plane was a ball of fire, which is great. And they should make it like a Jaws movie. Like, you thought it was safe to go back in the sky. Anyway, and the thing that got me was the fact that on CNN, like I said, yeah, I'm grown up now, adult CNN, and they were saying that they were worried that they weren't doing the checks, which isn't good. And the check was around $1,000 to do each time, right? And I didn't even follow my own advice. I ain't getting comfortable. Let me get comfortable. That's better. Get comfortable. And $1,000 to do the check, and you think like, oh, maybe they're trying to save some money. COVID times, not many people flying, that kind of thing. And but the thing is that they said $1,000 to check the plane each time, each engine. And they said if they found that one of these blades need replacing, it's $100,000 to replace one blade. Now, part of me is like, okay, don't replace the blade because it's going to be $100,000. Although, how much is a life worth? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, how much is the legal case for a life worth? Let alone, a couple of hundred. And what got me was the fact that I was like, you cheap fucks wouldn't even go to like $1,000 to check. Just to check, see how much dog shit this thing is. But they're like, nah. And then again, it was one of those things that like all my friends love me for it. By that I mean they don't love me for it. Is that I missed it like center middle of the road. So I'll be like, it's probably not the case. It's probably not the case. Whenever these headlines come out, and it was the headline that this plane thing happened, and I was like, I'm sure it was a one-off. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure everybody's safe. Everything's going to be great. It was just a bad accident, and thank the Lord, nothing happened to anybody. And then like the next headline was Boeing now recall like every aircraft, and I was like, oh my God. Of that model, of that type, whatever, to be checked or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. But anyway, right, blues. So we're here in like my Instagram kind of cave, come bedroom. Normally I can't record in here because of noise and stuff. Because one thing we like to do on the Alfie King show, on the 106 Mile podcast, is keep it real. Keep it real with you people. It's like, I look a bit, hair's a bit all over the place. And paler than I should be, but who gives a fuck? Who cares? Doesn't matter. The other thing is, I used to have, like, the Batcave, the Palace, a few months ago. Unfortunately, COVID times, had to move out, come home. So I'm back in my nan, and I tell you what's great: not paying water bills, not paying electric bills, not paying council tax, because I lived on my own, and it was one of those things that I moved out loads of times, but I moved out with other people, right? And you don't mean shit until you move out on your own. I tell you that for free, and because I talk to people who are thinking about moving out and all that kind of stuff, and I say respectfully, how much do you, how much you earn, what you on? And they'll say, and I'm just like, oh, motherfucker, you poor motherfucker. And then you talk to people that have moved, and they're like, oh, yeah, nah, man, they're definitely fucked. They can't do that. So anyway, moved home, got a hell of money, but you're back with the grandparents, so, you can't make them noises, man. Can't make the loud guitar noises. But anyway, Gran's down in the old hospital getting looked at. She's fine. So I thought I'd take this moment to use the comfort of like a chair in a warm house with a fucking overlight to see my face, because the rest of them ain't going to be this production value. You're being spoiled right now. The rest of it's going to be me hunched over in a car somewhere in a car park, looking questionable, probably getting approached. So anyway, blues news. We got our first feature. first feature on the Alfie King 106 Mile podcast. And that is my friend Peter. Oh, fuck. No, I've got to talk about this. I've got to talk about this. By the way, this is just me rambling on this podcast. So feel free to just, jump ship now. But if anybody's ever seen The Hunger Games, so I understand that people say things in different ways, and that's fine. That's fine. But I watched like all the Hunger Games in a row one weekend, and the main character talks in like a, Northern American accent, and it's cool. But then whenever they say Peter, they go, Peter! So it's just the most annoying thing. It grinded on me so much. And because it would be like, oh, we need to go over there and do this, Peter! And I'll just be like, it's Peter. Say Peter, it's Peter. And anyway. And I was like, I got on my high horse, and I text Peter, and I was like, bro, have you ever watched The Hunger Games, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, nah. And I said, well, I just said to you, right? And he replied and was like, oh, no, it's a different name. And I was like, what? And he was like, yes, it's spelled different. It's a different name. And I was like, oh, what a dumb prick I am. Holding my vengeance against the industry. I just saw somebody run past, like a jogger. And I was like, I remember when I used to be all... I mean, if you knew me before the heights of fame in this podcast, you knew that I used to be into the fitness, man, like the David Goggins, Jacko Willink, all that stuff. And I ain't keeping the secrets from you. I used to do the Kino body. Yeah, that fucking workout, which is, when I was younger, I used to be into all the functional training. Got to do the deadlifts, got to get the squats, get the core action. And then you get to a point where you're like, man, my fucking time is running out. My time is running out, son. And you go on the Kino Body website. This isn't an advert, by the way. But you go on the Kino Body, YouTube's or adverts or whatever. And he's just like, do whatever the fuck you want. Eat what you want. Do what you want. Be me. Be a millionaire. Why don't you be a millionaire? What the fuck wrong with you? And I was thinking, all right. Give it a go. What are you saying? Let's give it a go. And I did it. And I was very like, this is going to be terrible for you. Because I used to be so into like the fundamentals, the principles, like a Rocky film. And a lot of these workouts were kind of like double chest, twice a week, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of like bro lifts and things. Or so I thought. And then I did it and I was like, oh no, this is actually pretty good. This is pretty good. And the food stuff was really sensible. Really approachable, like the way you when you did the cut. So for people that don't work out as much, you do like, if you're trying to do aesthetic stuff, so not general health and well-being, more aesthetic stuff, it would be like you might go through a bulk phase where you eat slightly more to build more muscle, and then you'll go through a cut phase where you'll cut your calories. But the problem is that a lot of people cut their calories, so they'll do a massive cut, and then you can't keep it up. You just get hungry, all your hormones go all over the place, and it's just not fun town. So the thing with the Kino Body stuff is that it's just like slightly less, 200 calories or something underneath what your maintenance is, and then that just over a long period of time with a lot of things like walking. Man, just walk for 2 hours. And this is funny because I haven't fucking done it today, but I'm about to go see Andrea after this, my girlfriend, and it's the power of fucking walking, because I hate running. Like, I don't know. I get into it, but the problem with me is that I've got the ball head. My brother used to say I had a big ball head. I don't quite know why, but I've got the ball head, which is like, I just get an idea and then that is it. I'm fucking ploughing ahead. I was starting this podcast, ploughing ahead. I'll tell you something, this podcast is petrifying. Fucking petrifying. You ever thought about like, it's one thing to... This is the thing with musicians, and I heard somebody... Who was it? I think it was on Those Conspiracy Guys podcast. I'm now on a fucking list now, I've said that. And really interesting podcast, by the way, if you're into... They just did one on Bob Marley that I'm kind of just started listening to. I've listened to like all of them, really good. The Conspiracy Guys, really good. And they do like history stuff and true murders and things like that. Anyway, and they were talking about comedians and going up on stage and cracking jokes and all that kind of thing. They were saying that when you're a musician, you've always got a guitar or an instrument to hide behind. And you have this like thing that, I go on there and I do this sequence. Like when I'm talking, I've got to think about what I'm saying now. Like, am I being offensive? All that kind of stuff. which I'm trying to just fuck off, to be honest, because I'm just trying to, relax and be natural, because that's what I want this to be. But anyway, it's one of those things. There's balls constantly in the air, But when you're like playing an instrument, you got something to hide behind. So like I go. So like that, right? That's the same fucking trick that I play, or the same thing that I play every time I pick up the harmonica. Like when I say like, oh, I play harmonica, and I will just do that, and it's the fact that you have that thing to hide behind because you're just repeating the same sequence over again. It's like if you're... But when you're doing stand-up comedy, it's all that free flow, it's all that flow, and I don't know. Maybe that is part of being a musician, is that you just can't. You have that constant flow with the music because you're used to it. But anyway, so when you commit to doing a podcast, it's like I was like, nah, we're doing it. I've got the camera, I had the mic stuff already. Like, oh man, I had this fucking thing with Apple. Oh my god, I'm so deep. When you're so deep with someone, like. We got Apple fucking everything. We got iPhones, we got iPads, we got whatever. I was like, fine, I'll go all in. And I bought a 2020 MacBook, and it's like the biggest fucking regret that like I ever had, because now the M1s have come out, and the M1s are so much more powerful, and I just don't care what anybody else thinks and what you have to say, because friends of mine have got Lou got the Mac Mini, and it's just like for £600 or something. It's just like ridiculous compared to my MacBook. Anyway, so I got the old processor, got the old granddad action in mind before they've updated all these processors, and it weren't cheap. It was not cheap, but I was like, I said to Lou and Pete, I was like, this is going to be the workhorse, the beast that is going to build the empire, right? It's going to make the podcast. It's going to record new music for the new album that's coming out. I don't know. It's probably going to be an ongoing thing when I'll be like, I'm working on the album today. Instagram. And then I probably won't have actually done anything, whatever for it. And then right at the end, I'll be like, fuck. But like I said, I think we're gigging. I think shows start opening up end of the summer. I'm thinking get an acoustic or like an electro. Oh my God, Grech have just released these sick guitars. If you have £300 to spend on something a little bit funky, again, not sponsored, nothing I do is sponsored. And now I'm playing the BBC News on here. We're back. Sorry, I was just playing a little bit of BBC News and I didn't mean to do that. So anyway, the Grech Guitars, man. Oh my God. Grech, what is it called? Gin Bricky. Man, they are cool. You can't get them for love and the money. 275 and Andertons at the moment. They're like parlour style guitars, like the old fashioned type, with like this Delta pickup on it. And I know that there are going to be loads of people that go and buy this, and they're like, oh, it's a really cute acoustic guitar, and I'm going to play like my acoustic stuff on it. And then they're going to plug it in at a gig and be like, oh, this sounds like dog shit. But it doesn't sound like dog shit. It's just like an electric style pickup in it that I can tell. I might be completely wrong, but man, it sounds fucking incredible. And if you put it through an amp sim or something, oh shit. So anyway, I'm thinking maybe something like that with some slide, get some slide action in there. I'll be playing on my own, small places and all the rest of it. And then when the album's done, hopefully the end of the year, 2022, like end of 2021, we'll get it out to people. 2022, the festival season, gonna be hype, yo. It's gonna be hype. So we're gonna get, hopefully, I've got some friends who are going to help me try and get some more shows and some other people. It's one of those weird things. Like like I was saying about going for it, going all in. Is that, like I said, I was making a joke like, oh, I'm 30, on Friday and all that kind of stuff. So I released this on Wednesday, so 2 days, and you make jokes about getting old and doing this. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was just like, I just regret my 20s, man. In the I never really went for it. I did some crazy shit. Like I worked at music festivals, and there's another runner, man. Go fuck yourself. Making me feel bad. Anyway, I would have worked at music festivals. I was a communications engineer. I used to put up telephones and internet and all that kind of stuff. It was mad. Did like Reading, Leeds, Tea in the Park. Did all that. Did it for years. And years. Loved it. Even went to Dave Grohl, went to the Foo Fighters, the house. Met the tour manager for the Foo Fighters, went to Dave Grohl's house, never met Dave Grohl. But at the time, like my background being an engineer, and I thought I wanted to be an engineer for the longest time, that was kind of, I was more interested in going to see the studio and all that. And that's another long story that I'll save for another time. But it was the fact that I was a telephone engineer from Aylesbury, which is like the fucking one horse town without the horse. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, and it was the fact that like through life, and maybe I'm being... Yo, sorry about that. I had a camera thing. I can only record so much fucking time on the slab, and then I got to reset it. So apologies about that. Like I was saying, yeah, it was... Man, what the hell was I saying? Oh. Yeah, my biggest regret in my 20s was kind of like, I felt that I wasted it. Well, not wasted it. I had a cool job. Like, I worked in music festivals, and that was dope. So dope. And, like, I did Red and Leeds, Tea in the Park. Never did Glastonbury. That was, like, the one motherfucker that I never did. But anyway. And I used to be a telephone engineer. I'd install telephones and internet to people. That's what I'd do, you know. Call it what you want. And the thing is that I met the Foo Fighters. Their manager by accident. And it's a story that I'll tell you another time. It's kind of like my big fucking story. But the whole point of it was, I was sat on Dave Grohl's sofa. Dave Grohl wasn't there. In LA. And I was like, I'm a telephone engineer from Aylesbury. A telephone engineer from Aylesbury. Like, what the fuck? And it was that little voice, man, that's like, what if? That little voice that's like, what if? So what I'm trying to say is that I went to Birmingham City Uni. I studied studio engineering, and there was this ad that was placed, and it was just saying, like, do you want to work at music festivals? You know, and I won't go too much into it because I say it's a story that I'd save for another time, but it was the fact that, like, there was that little voice and that tiny thing that was like, that's your way to get into music festival. And you can get in the foot into there, then you can jump to this and da. So I went, like, and I was sat there and I was the only fucking guy out of music tech there. Everybody else was IT guys because it was an IT job. But anyway, like I say, fast forward, it was the thing that, like, people say when you go all in on something, you'll be surprised what fucking happens. So, like I was saying, it's scary. It's fucking scary setting all this shit up and, like, worrying about having stuff to say and worrying you're going to fuck someone up, worrying you're going to offend someone, worrying that blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, I didn't want to be, like, super scripted and be like, oh, fuck that. Fuck that. It's about being people. That's what I mean, all I tried to do was be like, what podcast would I enjoy if I could have any podcast? And I was like, well, what do I enjoy? Most of the time, regardless of what the podcast is about, it's just people hanging out and having fun and chatting shit. And that's what I enjoy. So do what you love. So like I said, I emailed Joey Diaz because I joined his Patreon, you know, because he's got a big following on his podcast and all the rest of it. And it was, like I was saying, it's that thing where, like, if you can find somebody who does what you do, they're going to be able to give you so much help. And a lot of the time, it's not what you think. As far as, like, there are some things. So, like, you have to have a good mic. I mean, not a great mic, but I mean, of a certain level, you have to have a camera of some kind. I mean, you use a fucking iPhone, you know, it doesn't matter. But so there's, like, a certain element. It was the same with guitars when we were growing up. You'd have, like, really cheap guitars. The electronics should be so shit you couldn't play a gig because they just make loads of squealing horrible noises. So there's, you know, a certain level, but it isn't necessarily at this stupidly high tier where you've got fucking banks of things you can pull up and play. And maybe one day, you know, or like like fans, fucking hell, or like guests and stuff like that. Because I was freaking out, being like, I haven't got a guest this week. I haven't got a guest. No, everyone was thinking I'm a joke. I haven't got a guest, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter because the people listen to you, the people that want to listen to you, bro. So it was the same that I was like, right, I'm going to be 30 on Friday. What do I want to do? I was like, I really want to play in a band again. I really want to get this music thing going. So I was like, if we're going all in, we're going all in, you know. And I was thinking, what kind of podcast would I enjoy listening to? It's the fucking point of my story, because you're probably all screaming at the fucking the phone, or whatever you're listening to, is that I was like, what would be the sickest blues podcast that if I could just make up some shit, right? And I was like, I would love to listen to a podcast of Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, BB King, or whatever, just around the table, just talking, and saying about what it's like being a blues musician in whatever time, but the time that they were in. And it was the fact that, like, now I'm wearing an Action Bronson t-shirt, and people will be like, bro, what the fuck you got your image and your brand, and you're, go fuck yourself. Like, there are ways that people dress when they feel a certain way, and, you know, and I might wear the bowling shirts and all the rest of it when I feel, you know, that vibe, because it's the same as when you go out to a ball, or when you go out to a ball. You know what I'm saying? Fucking no one's been out for shit for ages. You go swimming, you put on a swimming costume. You go do a thing, you do a thing. If I'm playing on the stage, I want to look cool as fuck, so I'm going to put on a bowling shirt and some black jeans or whatever. But when I'm here chilling, I'm wearing this and an Action Bronson tee, because, you know, baklava, baby. Who doesn't love Action Bronson? Anyway, so that was that. You know, I was meditating over the week and thinking about things, and that was it. I was thinking, like, I want to make this podcast about me chatting shit, because that's what I would love to do if I could hang out with the people that I thought were cool. But maybe I'm not that fucking cool, so, but we'll see. And to get more guests in, and hopefully other blues musicians and stuff, and talk to them, and other musicians and other people, just people, and just when we have the blues people in, be like, what's it like being a blues person now? Where are the blues at now? Do you know what I'm saying? And then just talking to people about their experiences in music, or talking to people just about experiences in life, man. Because this is the other thing, is that when you're an artist, I say that fucking artist, quotation marks, you know, I'm just about in the club, is that you can try and lock yourself away and be musical. And I think there is an element of, you have to turn up, you've got to show up and get it done and get it done and get it done every day, regardless of how good or bad it is, like I'm doing now, chatting to you people and worrying that this is terrible. But anyway, if all you do is the art, it doesn't work, because the whole point of the art is to reflect a feeling, right? It's the whole point of this. Like, I don't do so well when it comes to traumatic situations and stuff. Like, my granddad passed away a couple of days ago, my granddad Terry, and you know, may he rest in peace and all that. And it's one of those things that in the moment I just, like, don't feel any emotion. It's the fucking weirdest thing. I don't feel, I'm just like level, I'm here. I think it's a shock thing maybe, and it won't be for weeks. Then I'll grieve, then I'll feel it, then I'll, you know. But even then, not that ain't that much. I don't know. My other granddad passed away over a year ago now. And he was like a father to me, like Ray, my granddad Ray Farmer, you know. And that was a big wake-up call, man, to life and stuff. Sorry to get all fucking real with you. Going out, we get real. And it took me a long time to, you know. But maybe that's what the music is for me, a vehicle to get that emotion out. But what I'm trying to say is that life fuels that art. Painting, dancing, boxing, playing golf, be it what it fucking may, making a cake, I don't know, you know. And if you don't have the life to put into the art is going to be void of life. And the whole point of the art is to cause an experience. Like, great book. Anybody who's, you know, wanting to get into writing music of any type, this ain't a paid promotion, by the way, is Popular Lyric Writing, 10 Steps to Effective Storytelling by Andrea Stollop from Berkeley. And it's the shit. Simple as that. And I'll argue with musicians all day long, because this is the other thing, right? You get a good musician and you get a good songwriter, and they are two different things. And I'm not saying that if you're... I mean, fuck, I'm the worst for actually sitting down and writing shit, right? So I can't judge anybody. But in my view, and I automatically now judge people. Like, I see songwriting as learning another instrument. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's one of those things that, like, 100,000,000% people just vibe it and feel it and play it, and they come out with some amazing songs. And I'm not doubting that. 100% that's the thing. But Some people ain't like that, and for me, it isn't super like that. And something about the structure or understanding ways of changing things and toggling things helps with that, you know. But in that, she says, man, like chapter 1, ground floor. I've even got it on this page right here, and I swear to God this wasn't planned. Effectiveness is not contained within the plot, but in the ability of the story to connect emotionally. Quotations, Andrew Stollop, 2017 Berkeley Press. It's about causing experience. Sorry if that really hurt your ears. About causing experience, about feeling something, about not being contrived or bullshit. And that's what I wanted this to be, a real fucking real deal, baby. And I promise I'll stop telling you what I want this podcast to be soon. And that's what the blues always felt like to me. It was like that screaming in the night, that fucking fire, that fucking... Like, when I played shows, like, I play little venues in London and stuff, and I might... Well, no, it's irrespective, man. I've been, you know, I smoke a bit of pot here and there. Fuck 2020. But 2021. And I've done this sober and I've done this, you know, a little bit stoned and all the rest of it. But, like, there have been gigs where I feel like I'm an actor on a stage portraying a story and I'm singing into the fucking darkness and, like, my sound is penetrating through the fucking walls into the universe. You know, and that's not... And I don't... There's no... Like, this is all in my head. This ain't no fucking... like, sideshow that people can see. It isn't contrived, and I'm not making a movie. I'm making a podcast about it now, but I digress. But what I'm trying to say is that... Man, music's the double-edged sword. It's like... It's so good when you have that fucking journey, but at the same time... It's a double-edged sword because you're never going to not fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? And you can try to get away from it and you're just coming back. You're coming back. And I feel a lot that, like, my 30s is reliving my 20s when I didn't go all in. I didn't trust myself and I didn't... Whatever. And I just... I don't know. Didn't take those big shots. Didn't take the fucking... Anyway, so Joey Diaz, back to the story. So I emailed him and I was like, what should I do? What kind of podcast? Well, no, I didn't email him saying that, but I was just like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And he just said, do something you know or something you love. You know, and that's it. And just do it and find your voice. And that's the cold hard truth. And that's what we're at, baby. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it here. Oh no, shit! What am I talking about? I've got loads of stuff to talk to you about. Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Right. So we got our first feature on the show. I'm sorry we couldn't get a guest. I'm trying. We will. You just gotta bear with me, and I swear I'll talk to somebody else instead of telling you about my shit. Anyway, my friend Pete knows a lot about the blues. Does Pete? And I said to him, oh man, it'd be really cool. Because this is the thing, is that I'm really into it, but I will listen to the same 30 records for like my whole life. And then I was talking to Peter about Johnny Winters, who was another incredible slide guitar player. And he played Muddy Waters and all the rest of it. And he'll say like, oh, you know, this album, maybe had that album, and I'll be like, what? And it's stuff that I should know of and I just haven't come across or found. And I said to Pete, oh bro, really cool if I could if you could like just give me Pete's bluesy number of the week. So I mean, Peter's bluesy number of the week. There you go. We got the, you know. And his first one, he said, let me think. Howlin' Wolf, Moaning in the Moonlight. Oh, and Howlin' Wolf. We've got a double. Well, we're going to go for the double. Fuck it. We got a Tim Hortons here. We're going for the double for the cream and the milk. So there you go. That's going to be like my pick for the week. And I'm going to have a listen to that, check it out and see what it's saying. I'm going to see if I can maybe get a guest next week or the week after, hopefully. And yeah, man, I mean, things are changing. Things are looking up. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful that we got this. We got a little slice of realness. I hope that this keeps you entertained, doing whatever you're doing, working from home or driving or doing whatever, going to the gym, working out. I am going to start working out because I kind of fell off the wagon and earlier in the year started smoking those death sticks again, those cigarillos, those cigarettes. But we're off it. Because like I was saying, I used to be Mr. Fitness, witness to fitness. And we're going to be getting back into the grind because... Right, so I'm going to call it now. Like, I've been concerned about working out again because of all the COVID restrictions, that you're not supposed to work out in a... Well, I went to a local park and there were stickers all over it being like, get the fuck away, don't work out here. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I went to like the big park in town and there was people there. And I drove past this morning. Like, it's funny because there's a car park that like pulls up there at like 7 in the morning. I went to try and get some fucking eardrops in my ear. And... I like pulled up in the car park and was looking into the fucking like the park in the centre of town and was trying to see. And there's two guys working out and I was just trying to like drive through. I don't know why I was trying to like, work out what the fuck they were doing. I was like, it's obvious that they were working out unless somebody just went to go play on the swings at 7 a.m. some bloke. And this guy was trying to do like squats and looked at me like, the fuck are you looking at? So anyway, so I'm pretty certain that that's in the bag that we can do this. So. It's past the point. We're going to get back into it. We're going. This is going to be the stack. It's going to be like 6 to 8 hours sleep. 7 to 8 hours sleep. Let's be a grown up. A medium reduction in calories. No, like a sense, like 200, like something sensible. We're going to go Kino body weight workouts. We're going to see what we can do because we have in the future. The Groninger experience coming. And I'll explain to you about the Groninger in Holland and the boys and what you can expect because we will be taking the 106 Mile podcast to Groninger. And it's going to be a glorious day. It's going to be glorious. Anyway, so we got the blues pick of the week. We got that. I'm going to say watch that. Cadillac movies, Cadillac Records. I'm going to watch that film this week. We're going to talk about it next week. What are we going to be doing about next week? What else are we doing about next week? Hopefully, now I've got this set up, I'm going to get some more Instagram videos out, get some music done. I've got the whole turmoil with my Apple laptop that's currently broken that I kind of half told you about. Sorry, I didn't finish that story. Tune in next week and find out because Alex, or Alexander, whatever the fuck he's called, who's been mugging me out, is going to be calling me back. Hopefully today, because they were due a phone call back Friday, ain't got fuck all. Because UPS have lost my laptop. After it was repaired. And I will tell you the ins and outs and the full fucking story about that next week. So, this is a 106 Mile podcast. I'm going to play some bluesy shit. We got the double. In fact, fuck it. I think that might be I think we might call that the Pete double, the blues double. Anyway, so I hope you have a lovely week. Keep it bluesy. This is a 106 Mile podcast. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your love and support and all your feedback. And I hope you have a lovely weekend. I hope you're safe. And I hope that you were comfortable. Alright, Alfie King out. See you later, everybody. I don't know what that was. I see like the YouTube people do things that I don't. 106 miles Chicago, gotta get there for dawn. Come on, then, brother man, you won't ride long. 106 miles, baby, got a little story to tell. Yo, 106 Miles podcast. What's up? What's happening? Come on in. Get comfortable.